He made this song for me last week.
Look at the tower, someone is back. Michigan power, new attack. His name is Farmer, he is ready to black.
Elsewhere, we need to anything first, and I think that it was a real incident. I'm not going to go and think that I think it's actually different.
Look at go.
Looking at the moon, see a spaceship. We'll be landing soon. I tell you, don't skip our show afternoon. His words can be deep, a thinking lagoon. Michigan's alien, so fucking great. Remember what matters, just don't hate, create.
Not different. So why would you look through a window unless are you that dumb? You don't know when school gets out, and you're gonna bother it.
Right.
Michigan's alien, so fucking great.
That's so funny. My face is red every time, dude. I can't help it.
And we are live. We have here the Michigan alien, Derek Farmer. How are you, Farmer, man?
Hey, Cryptex, it's good to be with you tonight. Good to be with everybody. I don't know if anyone's in chat yet, but as soon as there are some people in chat, it sure be good to see them too.
Yeah, I think there are like 7 people watching. I guess
Not
they're
bad.
gonna put their comments really soon. So today we're gonna do something different. Usually I'm the one who designed the show, but tonight it was Derek Farmer who was in charge of the idea, the design, etc. So, Farmer, tell us about what are we gonna do tonight, man?
Well, we're gonna answer any Delphi questions first of all, because Delphi doesn't get to just leave because the trial's over and other creators say it's time for us to quit talking about it. We'll decide when to quit talking about Delphi when we want, unless we're directed by the family to do so. Because we won't be disrespectful. I won't be. If the family said, hey, we want you all to stop now, I probably wouldn't do another show on it. That hasn't happened. I don't really need another creator telling me what to do. I feel like I'm respectful enough when I do a subject that being a non-monetized channel as I am, that I'm not doing it for clicks or clickbait. Since I don't even do shows, actually, I just come on here now. It's so much easier, by the way, to just come on this show and not have to worry about running equipment. I love it so much more, man. I'm glad to be here once again.
Excellent.
But what we're doing, but you asked me, what are we doing tonight?
Yeah,
so
but
besides answering any questions possibly pertaining to Delphi that anyone may have in the chat, and we're going to try to pay, I know I mentioned to Cryptex I would to really pay attention to chat tonight, because I just feel like part of this format that we're doing here, this amateur broadcasting, in this format, it doesn't require participation, but I feel like in the chat that it is an opportunity for folks that wouldn't normally get a say in things, because not everyone wants to broadcast Cryptex. Not everyone is comfortable running their mouth on the air like we are, okay? And some people like to just, in fact, sip. Not even everyone wants the power to mod. They don't even want to deal with it. They just want to watch the show and watch the show. And I respect that. So, what was the question? I'm sorry.
What are we gonna
smoking the weed again tonight here in Michigan? So the memory doesn't last very long. But
but the question was, what are we gonna do tonight? But before, wait, before going to that, what did you say that about? I don't need any other creator telling me that I cannot talk about Delphi.
I just noticed a few creators now saying, since the trial is over, that it's time for everyone to stop talking about it as if they run the internet. I don't play that shit. I'll talk about what I want when I want, as long as I'm being respectful to the family and to the case. That doesn't mean let out something that could still hurt something in the appeals process. There are still responsibilities as a web sleuth, and that's going to bring me on to the hey Ginger Snaps. even though I know that's not your name. And hello also, Don't Hate Create. Of course, you're part of my song because the show that you condensed of me and Adam's show is part of the song. And I love that.
I stole her slogan, "Don't Hate Create," which I love it.
Oh, I just feel like we were giving her a shout out because she's the one that made that show between me and Adam. Otherwise, you got to sit through 2 hours of my dumb ass instead of 16 minutes. It's perfect. 16 minutes of me, folks, is enough. But anyways, tonight's show, what I wanted to do then is kind of pull that back around. When I told Cryptex this idea and that I had literally, I mean, at the time that I had it several months ago, I did mention it in one of my private broadcasts and also emailed every web sleuth I knew, and no one got back to me. And that's a fact. You know, I'm bringing receipts if necessary. Not that that's a problem. People have busy lives, but I think the idea that I have is a good one. And that idea is much like the AP standards on reporting that is taught as commonplace rule, basically in journalism 101 across this land. It's a set of, you know, sort of loose rules about how you go about being a reporter in terms of how you treat contacts and sources and cross-verifying and cross-checking your information, that you don't just go with one source, that you're getting multiple sources. And there's a whole list of things that in journalism 101, you're going to open the AP standards on reporting and read about. Okay. We could even pick up a copy and just for the hell of it, kind of go through it sometime as a blueprint almost, if you will. Right, Cryptex. So what I think is necessary, and folks, this is nothing I want to charge money for or have my name on or have anyone's name on. But I think what our community needs ultimately is a guide by somebody smarter than, not smarter than, but more knowledgeable of how to deal on the ground with running into potential bodies, who to call. Because as great as it is going out in the desert with a drone and then locating someone's missing kid is fucking up the crime scene now with the evidence so they can't arrest the person necessary that has killed that kid. Because as a web sleuth, you went and stomped all over it. I'm not saying we do that, but it could happen. Okay, sure. I just think that having a basic guidebook, Cryptex, and I don't mean Derek Farmer's writing it. I'm not smart enough for that. It would be law enforcement. It would be endorsable by law enforcement, because I think law enforcement generally takes the web sleuth community as a bunch of hucksters, a bunch of ne'er-do-wells. A bunch of ne'er-do-wells that, you know, don't have anything better to do on a Saturday night than sit around and, manifest detective, 80s detective shows. Okay. So it's just not like that. For most of us, as we know, for me, it's basically one case at a time. I'm not a flavor of the week guy, if you will, or month. I don't want to have a new case every week when the last one's not solved yet. Like, it's kind of important because I only look at cold cases when it comes to this. Again, I don't just do a strictly web sleuth show. I do a variety show. Mm-hmm. But, hey, Shay Watson, how are you tonight? But, overall, I would want to be doing and taking steps that law enforcement could look at, and people that have that knowledge, whether they be not necessarily law enforcement, but people that just have a knowledge base on how to go about some of this stuff or who to call, a number of different things. And, I just think that, okay, look, if you envision, say, a Mr. Steve, he's really an anomaly, okay, when it comes to broadcasting amateur-wise in the web sleuth community. He bridges the gap between amateur bullshitters like me, mm-hmm, with no experience in the field other than their own intuition and knowledge they have in life, with real experience, real skills, and marketable, marketable skills, basically, that he had to go to school for and study for and learn. Okay, that's science. I don't have that.
Yeah, I got it. What's gonna be the name or the title of the manifesto? Farmers Guidance
No,
for
no, no, no,
Good
no, 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 no,
Sleuthing?
no, 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 no. This ain't even to have my name on it anywhere, Cryptex.
I'm just
It's
kidding.
not what I'm looking for, but I know you're kidding, but because I told you that already. But no, this isn't a quick let's get Derek some fame shit or some shit. Because first of all, getting fame off some kid's murder, only a gross person would do that, in my opinion. Again, I don't do this for money, ego, clicks, or clicks. And by clicks or clicks, it's spelled two different ways, but I don't hang with crowds. I don't put up salacious titles to get someone to click onto my site. In fact, I encourage people not to join my site.
I know, I got it.
It's not monetized. You can stop by and check it out anytime you want, but we got a pretty tight crew over there.
Yeah, I know, but having views is the best to spread your ideas.
You're right.
We cannot lie. We want to have views because to us,
I'm afraid that cuts a little too close to ego for me personally, because once I start enjoying that, I'm afraid because I've never had that in my life. Okay, no one's ever said Derek Farmer knows how to do anything besides play ping pong and deliver fucking pizzas. And I'm good at both of those things. I'm excellent.
Yeah,
I'll whoop your ass on the ping pong table and I'll out deliver you any day. But Derek Farmer ain't a detective.
I know, but your ideas are interesting. Your mind is right.
I get that.
So I think it's important to listen to the things you are talking about. And if you don't have a single view, you are talking to the mirror, So,
can I answer Shay?
I understand. I understand that the line you are trying to trace here, but just saying,
And you know what? I really am. Can you put up Shay Watson's comment, please? I never see you anymore, Farmer.
Yep.
Yeah, Shay. Just to answer your question, I haven't made a video really, actually since that disastrous I'll call it disastrous, that auction show I did. Brilliant idea. I'm the only person that really tries new shit. I never seen anyone try to auction their own shit on YouTube like I did. And I never seen anyone go to a copyrighted show where people are playing live music and broadcast it on their own channel as if it's theirs. But I do those things because I want to take people with me everywhere. I don't want to just keep it in my back porch where it's literally 28 degrees right now. I like to experience the whole thing. And I think that Shay, to answer your question though, I will be again sometime. I just started getting cranked back up, and then I dumped an entire hot cup of flaming hot coffee into my soundboard, and my headphones started crackling and smoking, and I thought I was going to fry my brain. So anyways, but that's just when I mean, I literally just emailed this. And by the way, no other creators got back to me. That's not a dig on them because again, they have lives and shit, but Cryptex got back to me within 1 hour on this idea and said, that is a great idea. I appreciated that. It's not for an ego thing. And it's not to push people around. It's America. It's Canada. It's Europe. You have a right to say and do what you want. But you know what? If you want maybe law enforcement to endorse your show, or if you want to be making sure you're doing the right thing, then at least check it out. I don't think you should have to pay for it. It should be non-profit and free.
Yeah, 100%, man. To develop this idea you have tonight, let's take Delphi as a reference or as a point of start to talk about it. What type of situations you didn't like in this community that you would like to address in that type of guide we are talking about tonight? For example,
well, I'm not gonna come on here and start bashing other creators for mistakes made early on, because I made those same mistakes. And those mistakes would include naming wrong people that had nothing to do with the case you're talking about. And much like Sleuth corrected me on, just because someone's an asshole or a fishy person doesn't give you the right, just because they didn't have anything to do with that murder, to bring their name up. It's to be left out of your mouth. And I I don't go on that show too much anymore. I miss him, but I mean, those values don't leave me. He taught me the values initially of what I'm talking about. Him and Kristen behind the crime door, and Mr. Steve, of course. You can't ever get away from him when you're talking about doing the right thing. Anything he does is, to me, the right thing. So
yeah, for sure, I agree. So that's a good point. Naming people that.
But let me ask you, you know about his website, that him and Mrs. Steve created, and people pitched in and helped. Mary Jane, sweetie, I'm doing a show. My dog is like now staring at me, like, please, you want a treat, baby?
He's hungry.
No, she ate. She just likes a treat. I don't have them out here with me. But I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry, that threw me off.
I think you were talking about the foundation of Steve from True Crime Web, maybe? No?
Yeah, but it was something a little bit greater point, but that's okay. I think that, let's say, without naming any creators, first of all, that maybe name names, because I just don't think that's necessary either, because I think by the end of the process, maybe you guys don't agree, but I feel like a lot of those same creators by the end of this Delphi process also, A, learned their lesson, B, didn't make those same mistakes. It was a learning curve. Understandably, though,
I agree.
That curve does fall along the lines of someone's actual real family. So we don't have room for a learning curve. What we need is a handbook to guide us properly, in my opinion. Now, it doesn't have to be a physical handbook. It could just be a PDF file online, whatever. To me, it's the information that's important that's put together, and a loose set of standards, much like the AP standards on reporting. There are just certain things you don't do. You don't out a source. You don't, there's just certain things you just don't do. And there's got to be those same kind of rules. If you're going to be going out in the field, you're killing me, Smalls. Get down there and lay down.
Give him a treat, man. Come on.
It's so little back here. These poor dogs, we have to be out of my house. So we're living on a back porch that's 28 degrees, basically, because I smoke. And I'm not going to smoke in a house I just repainted. I'm trying to sell it. And the dogs have to be with me because I'm so lovable,
Yeah, you are.
So, but anyway, so my idea was, say you get a panel of 12 to 15 people together that are qualified. Again, Derek Farmer's not qualified to do this. You guys can listen to the ideas.
Come on, you're gonna be the voice, man.
That's fine. And that part of it, I don't mind. But the actual guidelines, I don't really have that in mind. I'd leave that up to law enforcement, because I think the idea is that I would want to welcome law enforcement into our community. Mr. Steve is the only one that bridges that gap. Ruckus does also, but I'm saying there are so few creators who are able to go and talk to a law enforcement officer and then get online, do a show, and be respected by both sides. That does not happen. Cops think we're fucking chumps. Right. I'm sorry, but they don't want us sticking our noses in where it ain't wanted when you ain't got the skills to be finding them bodies or them bones or them shoes or that DNA. We're not trained in that. Okay. We have no business messing with a crime scene. There are no standards, and there are no standards in this community. It won't be long before that bites all of us in the ass.
You just a great word here, messing. And coming back to your initial point, we all made mistakes here in this in the Delphi's case. Creators, viewers, and I don't know if we learned about those mistakes, but I'm gonna talk about some of them. For example, when you said messing with a crime scene, messing with an investigation. So we had creators here in this community, and some of them were or are respected, let's say, working together with law enforcement, working with the prosecution, working
with the
defense. I didn't like that at all.
I don't like them working with the prosecution. I'm talking cold cases, not active. I guess it doesn't matter. Once a case stops being cold, now it's active again. So once you actually do arrest somebody, it's now a hot investigation. But to help out or talk to a prosecutor or defense, I don't think web sleuths should be interjecting themselves in the judicial process. Am I wrong?
No, you're
Sorry.
not.
You know,
you're
and
not.
I don't even mean Fig notwithstanding. I mean, including and up to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether you're
And
related to the fucking judge or not. Sorry, I don't mean to disrespect Big, but sorry. I'm sorry.
and now
It's
you
all
have,
stay, bro.
and now you have those creators deleting all of the content because there's something there, you know. When you say information that only the killer would know, it was known by the creators long time ago. So the crime scene leakage.
Yeah, and then you got his mental health person chatting around in Facebook circles about the case. That
Exactly.
shit is going on around here. That she should have been fired immediately and the next person hired immediately. That should be against the law.
And never hired again in the future for the same type of
absolutely irresponsible. You're asking for an appeal process to actually work, and it's your fault.
Right. What's the name of this guy? He was here in the show with us the other time. Jason Voorhees. He hacked into the account of Keegan Klein in Instagram, and I asked him, "Do you think that was a good move? I think you were kind of messing with."
First of all, isn't hacking a felony? I thought hacking was a felony.
You were compromising the integrity of that cell phone, that information, that account, let's say. So
because like Mr. Steve noted the other day live on the air, when he said one thing you can't do to obfuscate or obviously it's not right, to get around a proper search warrant is to be a private detective and then go gather that information and give it to law enforcement, because that shit just don't work like that. We have a constitution. But what do you think? They're doing the same damn thing. Now, they're not private eyes. It don't make it any different. They're doing the same thing, and it's inappropriate, in my opinion. Well, if it's in my handbook, it is.
Yeah, for sure. And I got that we are curious. We are doing research. We are trying to have some sources of information. We want to solve the case, but we have to be able to see that line and not to trespass the line we are talking about.
Can you put on Mr. Steve's comment up, please?
I'm so late in the chat, man.
It's okay, but it's relevant to what we're talking about.
This one?
No. Although I am intelligent and motivated. Thank you for putting that up. No. No, the one that says unfortunately, Farmer's correct, which it doesn't stop there. It says Ellie looks at YouTubers as clickbaiters. I face that obstacle also, but only due to my career do they give me a second look. And I believe you. But I'm pretty sure you demand they give you a second look, Mr. Steve. You got a way about you. You ain't putting up with that.
You know, to not to be so late in the chat, let's go with the comments.
Sure.
Sure.
Sure. But anyways, you know, as Mr. Steve does say, you're not allowed to go around a proper search warrant or a constitutional agenda item as a private citizen, only to then hand that over to the authorities that could not break the Constitution there in the first place. That's still breaking the Constitution.
Yeah, 100%.
I think, or whatever that means, law, whatever. So yeah, but thank you for noting. So big fish, small pond. You look good, Farmer. Is there another guy named Farmer on your show?
You do, man.
I feel good.
Ginger. Hello, Ginger. How are you?
Ginger Snaps. Love you. That's a fighter there. We like fighters. We like people that stand up for what they believe in.
Yeah, and, Big Fish says that 16 minutes is not enough for you, Farmer.
Okay, well, anytime you want to have me on, I'm willing to do so.
Molly,
it's good to see you, first of all, Molly. I've been missing you. Hi, all. Good to see y'all. Hope everyone who celebrates had a good National Stuff Your Face Day. Well, I don't know who wouldn't celebrate Thanksgiving. It ain't religious, and it ain't even a Christian holiday. It's just a good old American holiday.
Yeah, Thanksgiving here was like a couple of months ago. So.
Only I contend that we were the savages and they were the settlers.
I agree.
Shay Watson, hello, how are you? Cryptex and my guy Farmer. Doing pretty well, Shay. I hope you're doing well also. It's really got into being winter up here overnight, literally. The wind is blowing, the snow is flying. We're in another winter storm advisory yet again tonight. You know, the car is not running. I'm on foot with tennis shoes and short socks kind of deal, you know. But that's all right. It builds character, right? I lost both of my feet. I'm going to find them in the spring. Molly says, I get that, Farmer. I have a hard time going in depth on a bunch of things at one time. I think she's referring to when I said I basically stuck to one case at a time. But I like to change it up too when it gets overwhelming. I had to Delphi detox after the trial. I believe that. I mean, you were in a few different shows, I think, as a mod too for Mr. Steve. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's a lot of speculation and going over the same old. But I feel like by doing that, we had a better grip on the case than a lot of communities did. But go ahead, Cryptex.
No, and I'm gonna tell you, at one point, I had a burnout, and I had to stop making videos about Delphi for 1 year. I think I was thinking about Delphi the whole day, man. Was crazy.
I've only made like 5 videos in my whole life, so. Two of which are a couple of the best interviews I've ever seen of Sleuth Intuition and Kristen Behind the Crime Door. Those are my first 2 shows I ever did. Now, Mr. Steve was going to be the 3rd show, but I couldn't figure out the equipment. I left him in the green room for 3 days with no craft service, you know.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen soon.
I had the last one down until I spilled the cup of coffee in there out of my Sleuth Intuition cup. Tell me that wasn't a foreshadowing.
You're a mess.
You said I'm a mess? I know.
Molly again.
Oh, Molly. I'm fading off again. Steve probably has a basic manual on how to approach a crime scene as the responding officer to not mess it up. I'm sure. And you know what? I bet he wasn't perfect every time either and would acknowledge that. I mean, I know it's not a thing where just because you're trained means you're going to do the right thing every time. But I feel like a lot of people are stomping around a lot of places looking for a lot of things that ain't been found yet. And stomping in the wrong place can screw things up a little bit, guys. And there's a reason why we're not taken seriously amongst real investigators. 1, we don't have that training. 2, we're not even allowed to carry guns really like that. You know, we can carry cap guns or something. I don't know, like plastic handcuffs or something. I don't know. Oh, I'm making a citizen's arrest. No, I'm not. I'm never doing that. It's not cool. You know, so yes, don't devalue yourself. Big fish, small pond, you know me. It's all about self-deprecation with me.
Yeah, let me go.
It's how I stay grounded.
Melissa says love for Farmer and Cryptex.
Back at you, Melissa. Always good to see you. Always.
Sorry, my dog is.
I've known you a long time now. You're from Michigan or something? I think she's from Michigan. Maybe.
So another Michigan alien, man, like you.
Oh man, I don't know, man. There ain't a lot of Michigan aliens. I mean, I definitely call myself one, especially considering the second half of the show. But we'll get there. Well, it won't be a whole half. I mean, the second 5 minutes. I'll go over it quick. But I do have something to say about the upcoming alien war in our skies in 2 days. But we'll get there. True Crime Web, that'd be Mr. Steve, and occasionally Mr. Steve. Just arrived, and that was very kind, Farmer. My teams are made up of intelligent and motivated people. Our goal is to generate leads and help reopen cold cases. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's sort of what it's all about. Well, for you, especially being a pro, but even for somebody like me, I mean, I have a personal friend. I mean, at Cryptex, I sent you those emails today. That case, I mean, it's a public case, but no one's web sleuthing it. It's a very close friend of mine whose brother was murdered, shot to death in his blacksmith shop. And they were the first black family in their county. And they still had their original family land from the 1830s. And this dude goes, I'm going to have a blacksmith shop on my family's land. Well, somebody didn't think so.
Are we going to cover that case, Farmer?
I'm going to at some point. I mean, I would like to do it with other people like you. Of course, it could be just our case. I'm fine with that. I feel like I work in tandem, or even in a circle, if you will, better than I do alone for sure. I'm no good by myself. I'm a good sidekick, like an Andy Richter. You know, I'm like your Andy Richter.
Batman.
I'm like your Ed McMahon, but not your Mr. Ed. I ain't your damn donkey.
I'm gonna do it with you for sure, man.
I mean, I think it's a great case. One, it's not been solved. It's a cold case. Two, it's a close personal friend of mine. Three, the history of the family is amazing. Just for the local history from the area, they're willing to do. I'm pretty sure I can get my friend to come on and do interviews. I would think that if the family is behind, I've gotten the blessing of the family to do this case from them. I have the name of somebody that they suspect, which I won't release.
Interesting.
But the cops said, we don't think so. Well, this person was around bragging about how they shot an N-word. Seems pretty sus to me when it's only 5-10 minutes away from where that happened, and it's way out in the country.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's cover that case, man, together.
Okay. I've been wanting to for a while, but it's a situation for me where it's a personal friend, and I don't want to take it on and then be in any way, because no one else is doing it. You know, it's not okay. Like Delphi didn't need Derek Farmer. There were 1,000 other creators doing John Benet Ramsey murder, Delphi murder. I'm just not a flavor of the week guy. The reason that I was so interested in the Delphi case isn't because of its quote unquote, which is disgusting to me, popularity, but because of the enigmatic, mysterious nature of the case itself. When you have that many players, when you have video of the location of the dude, you know, and he even talking and giving away these creepy ass, it was creepy. It was scary. Like a real life horror story. And then you learn so much personal stuff about the girls and what sweethearts they were. You know, it's a really personal case to me. And I know it was for all of you.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. I think it's the same for all of us. And I'm so glad you were part of this, because that's how I met you, man. That's why you are here tonight with me.
Yeah, man, I didn't get to spend the trial or the verdict with the crew that I had been sleuthing the case with for 3 years because, you know, I got pissed. I didn't like the direction. Not of the web sleuth. The web sleuth is always top notch. The person is top notch. I love him like a brother. But I just didn't like the political message. I didn't need that during a time of demonizing one entire party to get your guy elected. I mean, to me, victims don't give a shit if you're a Democrat or Republican, a Libertarian, an Independent, or if you just don't bother to vote at all. They don't care. They want their case taken care of, not what fucking party you vote for, dude.
You can vent here, man. No worries about that.
I do vent because you never hear anything then. Like you're just a nobody. You know, like you're just flying off the handle, getting pissed at these people all the time. When quite frankly, I was part of a community for a couple of years, as far as I knew. And, you know, and it's great. People check in on me and stuff, but it hurt.
Yeah, I know.
It hurt, but I'll never, ever, like I put up right away, don't use this as an opportunity from any enemies of this person, if there are such a thing, and why there would be is ridiculous. Get a life. If you have an enemy online that web sleuths, you're a fucking loser, and you need to get a life.
I think there are other there are other scenarios to talk about that. Let's say maybe you can have a channel to talk about politics, but the Delphi
a channel 2, let's say. You could even call it Chan 2 and have it for aliens and politics and boxing and all the other crap you like. But if you're web sleuthing a cold case murder and you're talking about one whole side of a political spectrum merely being part of a political party and in league with Satan, that's got to be highly offensive to some murder victims' families, in my opinion. I won't be part of that.
Yeah, and people are gonna say that this is my channel. I can talk about whatever I want. But
you're absolutely correct. It's America. It's your channel. It's up to me where I want to be. Exactly. And when I set my moral standards, and the person running that channel, I know appreciates and understands where I'm coming from, and they respect it. which is why I'll never say a bad word about anybody or ever work. But if you think I got time to talk to some asshole behind the scenes about now, oh, I'm enemies with this person, like I've never done that one time with anyone over anyone on the internet and barely in real life. I call it, I mean, I don't want to keep saying that because I do consider my internet friends at this point to be my friends. I don't call them internet friends. I call them friends. You know, like you're my friend, Cryptex. You're not my internet friend. That sounds like you're my pen pal. When I'm 7 years old, that was, you know, cool when you're 7. I had a pen pal in Kentucky. I didn't know what the fuck he was saying. Somehow the accent was on the in the writing even. Hey, y'all. I'm like, who's y'all, mom? You know, I'm 7. I don't know what y'all means.
No, same here, man.
Go milk a cow. Just because my last name's Farmer doesn't mean I know how to grow anything besides weed anyways.
I agree. Let's move with the chat here, man.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah. Bring it on. I want to read some. Big fish, small pond. I love how nice you talk to your doggies. I yell at them too, so I'm not perfect. I've never hit them one time. That's one thing I won't do.
Look who's here.
I don't hit people and I don't hit animals. I only defend. If I have to hit a person, there's a reason for it. And if I have to hit an animal, it's because it's attacking a person. And that's the only reason for it. So, I love Anna Lizette. She's great. Very participatory and great questions, Anna, always. Anytime you want to come on, as far as Cryptex, as far as I'm concerned, anytime she wants to ever dial in and just be on the panel with us, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
basic journalism standards and rules will cover the situation. You know, I think you're kind of right there, which is why I'd kind of like to actually read through the actual AP standards on reporting before I just talk about them. But I do know that Kristen employs those in her broadcast. Always made a point. Whoops, my hair's sticking up. To say so, and I just thought it was really a moralistic way to approach dealing with somebody who you don't know's information. You know, like you're not just talking about a made up character. Even if it's a suspect of something, doesn't make them guilty and doesn't mean they have to be talked about like that so that now they're hated in their own community. I don't want to do that to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
After they're convicted, well, beat the shit out of them if you want. Okay. But let's wait till the person's guilty and then the appeal goes through. And even then, that's just not how we deal with things in America. People just do their time, or they fry, or they take a pill or whatever they give them, or a lethal injection or whatever we do to somebody like that. And that's what the law says to do. So we're not allowed to take justice into our own hands, or you'd have a bunch of crazy Americans with guns. Thank God none of us have guns yet. We're going to get some someday, though. Running around taking justice into their own hands. And I know people have done that. And even in circumstances where I understand why they have done that, when a daughter or a son is molested and or murdered or something like that. You could understand the rage, especially if that person gets off on a technicality. Mm-hmm. Letting a person like that walk scot-free. You can be able to do that. It's hard. In a civilized society, you're going to be the one going to jail for the rest of your life. And then who's hurt? That kid who now needs a parent really bad, now doesn't have one because they're in prison.
Mm-hmm. Self-defense as well.
Oh, of course, self-defense. Mr. Steve will tell you I don't fuck around. I sent him the video.
100%. That's Stormy Cherry. Go with the comments, Farmer.
Oh, that's sus. They're saying that's sus, as in suspect. Stormy Cherry. Oh, Stormy. That's because there's too many idiots out there that think they are qualified. You are so right. You have serious creators and clicks and views grabbers, unfortunately. But you know what, though? It's the nature of amateur broadcasting, or the nature of amateur anything. There are some folks that don't care much for the NFL or pro sports. They would rather watch a more unregulated, maybe not unregulated, it's not the right word, but a more unpredictable, less well-trained batch of college men or women play, or depending on your state, a combination of both play. You know, because they enjoy and then take that one step further. Every 4 years, it used to be this way when I was a kid, that the Olympics, from our standpoint, had to be amateurs. They weren't even allowed. I don't think they were even allowed I guess they could be college kids. Yeah. But you couldn't have any pros in there. But of course, the Russians the entire time, because they're honest folks, those Russian folks. The government's so honest over there. They were putting in the pros, but they weren't just pros. They were jacked up on some serious shit. You know, like dudes, chicks were, you know, literally growing, you know, dick, you know, penises. By accident, not even wanting to. That's how much shit they were on. And it's like, so you got this big Russian woman, you know, like named Helga, and she's about to go wrestle, you know, little Stephanie from America. Puts her in a scissor lock, you know, next thing you know, head comes right off.
Yeah, coming back to our initial point, Farmer, when you were talking about the guide or the rule, let's say here, it has to be both sides, you know. It's not only for the YouTubers, it's gonna be also for the law enforcement. And I'm telling that because I'm saying that because of this comment from Molly. Right. Sometimes law enforcement, they use the YouTubers to reinforce their narratives, to leak some information. So that needs to be addressed as well. So you can go with the comment of Molly and
yeah, sure. Molly, always with the poignant comment or question, always. Very much enjoy her company here online. We know who leaked the crime scene photo, and I've heard she makes a great cup of coffee. We know who leaked the crime scene photos. I mean, I don't. Have we ever found out? I've never even seen them, and I don't want to. Have we ever found out who leaked the KK interview? Wasn't it left on top of a car for a murder sheet? I thought that was, unless they lied about how they obtained it, I thought that dude, Kevin Greenbag or whatever his name is, Green something? Is it Green? Kevin, whatever his name is. And her name's like Helga or some shit. Anyways, I was under the impression that he was a lawyer, attorney, and that he had privileges to dial in basically to a privileged area. And they were up there for like 5 minutes and someone accidentally downloaded them. I thought that's what I heard, but I really don't know the ins and outs of that kind of stuff.
That's the official story, but do you buy that? I don't.
No, I don't buy that shit. Hell no. I don't buy that one bit. Of course it got leaked. I don't buy one bit it was a clerical error for losing that tip narrative. That is a line of bullshit if I ever heard it. I'll never buy that. The FBI denies that was the fucking case. Here's what I think. You had a cop, a lieutenant of the Department of Natural Resources, trained at the state level per federal law in investigation 101, basically. If those girls would have been found in the waterway, he would have been in charge of the investigation, as that's the Mary Gerard Land Conservancy, state land conservancy, that they were, had they but not been on private property, the waterway and the public land around there belongs to a state land conservancy of a certain DNR lieutenant. He's not a fish and game warden, folks. That's what you are when you first start. There's a mouse in here. I know it. You know, and no disrespect to any of the other creators for insisting so, that I'm just flat out wrong on this one. But I think I cited enough examples on media interviews and so forth all the way back to 2013 that called him a lieutenant of the Department of Natural Resources. Now, how is that different than a conservation officer or a fish and game warden? It's a federal designation within a state land conservancy. And would also probably apply to a federal land area, like a national forest, because they are. I mean, I read that it was a federal. I mean, Mr. Steve, if he's still here, could correct me, but conservation officer is a state level agency. DNR is the Department of Natural Resources. That's in all 50 states, as far as I know. We have one here in Michigan, right?
Let's see if Steve can confirm that.
And if that's the case, then you have to have a federal designation, and that has certain requirements that other parts of that agency don't have. Part of that includes crime scene investigation, blocking off a crime scene properly, sexual assault training, and questioning of witnesses. Why the fuck didn't you say anything to any of your coworkers for 5.5 years around the water cooler that you talked to a guy at a grocery store, said he was there on the day at the time in the clothes with the day off from work, but you forgot to mention it for almost 6 years?
I agree.
I don't think you deserve that federal designation, mister. I don't think you deserve to have a badge, as a matter of fact, and I'm not afraid to tell you that because you're paid by the public. You deserve to go in front of a fucking board and have your ass reamed out.
There's something shady there for sure.
Shady? Hell yeah, there's something shady there. That just doesn't happen. I want I want another police officer to say, that doesn't make any sense. How could you know you interviewed a guy that looks just like Bridge Guy? Oh, not just like, but close enough. I mean, 5'4", 5'5" guys. There's not a lot of those people around Indiana. You're quiet. And the fact that you interviewed one that says he was there in those clothes on that day at the same time they went missing. Now, you changed your story for the trial, but in that interview, you said you were there at 1:30. That's what you said.
No. 100%, man. And maybe you can do some
type of... anyone else find that to be a problem? Because Dan Doolin didn't think it was a problem, and I don't mind saying his name. He's paid by the public. He deserves to have his name said, as a matter of fact. Yeah. But didn't you find that a little odd? Even on the stand, he goes, I don't see that as a problem, basically. You don't deserve your job, dude. I'm sorry.
No, he didn't.
You at least don't deserve your job, but you should be investigated. Yeah, that's my opinion as a pizza delivery driver from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Or just it's far-fetched, but let's say they always knew about Richard Allen since day one, but they didn't have enough evidence to connect Allen to the crime. And maybe they accidentally wrote down that. Don't talk about that tip. Let's wait a little bit. 6 years, a little bit. Yeah, but it's far-fetched. I don't buy it, but just saying.
They maybe it was that accidentally writing down that road name as his last name, because we all know murder suspects never ever lie to police officers.
Right.
That never fucking happens. So obviously that last name was definitely his last name. Shut up. I'm not always nice. They're getting on my nerves.
Oh man.
I don't have children.
Coming back to the murder shit point here.
Let's read a comment here.
No, you already read it.
Let's read it again. I loved it.
I'm coming back to that. To that comment.
Good.
In my opinion, the murder sheet they released very good information, relevant information about the case, important information. But to me, it's clear that they were a weapon from the prosecution. They were used by the prosecution to sell their narrative, let's say. So that's why I was saying
pretty selfish on their part.
Exactly.
In my opinion, I have no respect for that shit, because the only reason they did any of that was to get members and clicks, to make their own money off someone else's tragedy. Because they're not like Mr. Steve making whole websites that show you hotspots where kids are disappearing, or trying to figure out whose bones these belong to. No, they're putting the money in their back pocket and getting a nice brunch, on Sunday.
There was an agenda there. That's
killing me. You're killing me.
He needs treats, man. Analyze.
I have 2 of them here, and they're killing me.
Go with analyze.
My dogs are smart. They know I'm broadcasting, and they have waited till now.
Yeah.
To be little assholes. But what are you going to do? But they're not too loud, are they? Are they interrupting too bad? The little bark?
No, come on.
Let me see what I got going on here.
It's part of the fun, man.
Well, let me break for 1 minute. Maybe you could load up. Oh, let me read the comment really quick, actually. Anna Lizette says, it's always good to know your sources. As creators, use only what you can source. If you have opinions, clearly state that fact. Absolutely. This is common sense stuff, but Anna Lizette, you know what? At the end of the day, it'd be better to have that in an official handbook so people can resonate that in their head over. Where's the dog at?
I think we have a dog situation here, guys.
Yeah, my
So I'm gonna go with the
guy can
comments.
get back up the
I'm gonna
stairs.
mute Farmer a little for a little while here. Simon, how are you, Simon? As you know, guys, Simon was the first guest I had in my chat.
What's
Okay.
that now?
No, I'm just saying that Simon Wright is here. Who, as you know, Simon was my first guest in this channel, man. So
Is that true?
yeah, he has a special place here in the channel, man.
Nice. Simon Wright from West Yorkshire. He was on your show, the first person as a guest on your show.
I was trying to figure out how to call people to be here, and
Okay. He kind of worked through you with that process.
Yeah, so I put the link in the chat, and he called, and we talked for a while. He has a lot of information about Richard Allen, so I'm gonna tell you someday about that. But it was really interesting.
Yeah, when I've seen his name before, Simon Wright. I've seen your name before. I mean, say his as if you're not here with us. But for some reason in my head, I don't know if you've ever watched that science guy from. Well, I think he's from England, but he lives in France now. I think, and he lives in like an old winery. You know, it's got like those big cement curved walls and everything where you would store. And he's pretty popular. He's like a few 100,000, and he's one of the people that knows somebody in the European. Where do you look through the telescopes and shit at the sky? Whatever you call that planetary science thing. Like he has higher ups there. He's a science guy, but I think his name is Simon Wright. That's why. And he's one of the ones that actually just said that they've confirmed to him that we definitely have something heading this way, says the James Webb Telescope.
Okay, interesting. We have Matahari here. Matahari is a good friend of Barbara Hall. Barbara Hall is the mother of Timmy Dees.
Right.
You remember we are covering that case. So it's glad to have you here, Matahari. You're doing a great job in the Timmy Dees case. Thank you for.
Let me read Matahari's comment.
Yeah, sure.
Not during the case. If they would like to speak, I'm sorry, you out of here? Oh, I'm saying goodbye to my company, you guys. I apologize. Thanks for coming by, Glow. I love you. Not during the case, period. If they would like to speak to creators after the case is over, I'm more receptive. I agree. I mean, it's just common sense. Why would you want to mix yourself up in real time in a trial? Are you doing that for selfish purposes or because you have some kind of unrealistic sense of yourself? Because you're not smarter than the judges or the attorneys or anyone. So, like, what are you trying to add to it, and what's your motivation would be my question. Like, exactly. There should be no amateur broadcasters involved. Just because I do a show on, pick any number of topics, the Detroit Lions, doesn't mean I'm in the locker room interviewing the guys after the game. It just don't work like that. You have to actually go to college and get a broadcaster's, degree in broadcasting, like from Boston University, like Howard Stern did, and be an A student. What do you call that? When you're real good in college? I don't know, Dean's List type, material. You got to be good at it, and before you can be called a professional broadcaster, in my opinion, you have to go to college and get a broadcasting degree. Same with journalism. You can call yourself a journalist all day long. But that's a degree. That's not a title that you just get to have. That's a degree out of college. It's called journalism. Like my sister went to Western Michigan University. They don't offer the program anymore. She was an English major and a journalism minor heavy on editing. So it's like, there's no reporter degree. You can call yourself a reporter if you want. It's like calling yourself a weatherman. But you can't call yourself a meteorologist unless you know the science of it. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, no, the motivation is it's a big part of that situation. You're right, Farmer. We have Nana here. Hannah says hello to you, to me. She's not feeling well. I hope you get well soon, Nana.
Yeah, I hope it's just something like a cold or something get by you real quick. My mom is actually getting over this rhinovirus and this ASV or something, this Asian, I don't even know what. It almost killed her. She literally almost died, my mom. And then she made, in one day, the most miraculous recovery. Mask is off, and she's bitching at people again. I go, Mom's back. Mom's back.
She's at home?
She ain't coming home. Her home's at the nursing home, but she's out of the intensive care unit at Bronson Hospital, so that's good.
That's awesome, man. I'm
yeah,
happy
her
that,
oxygen levels are back to way normal. She's actually dealing with some other health issues that she was sort of having before they were addressed. And I think she's going to end up, I swear to God, I think she's going to end up in better shape after it.
That's good news, man. Good news.
It's not bad. I'm real happy with that outcome. I want to thank the science end of things. I've been thanking the faith end of things a lot because that's newly found for me in a way, although not necessarily traditional in the way that you all worship that. But just knowing that there might be something greater than myself is, quite a realization as a 50-year-old. So I'd like to thank, though, traditionally thank the doctors and science for making her better. They don't oftentimes get enough credit because when someone gets healed from a real bad thing, the first thing everyone does is thanks God. And the doctor's going, I spent like 12 years in college. God didn't pay my college tuition. I'm pretty sure I saved your mom, So you got to give them both some respect. Let my dog in here. It's colder than a witch's titty out here.
So yeah, Nana, I hope you get well soon, and I'm glad you're here commenting. Annalise said, clickbait channels will continue to exist or be sanctioned by YouTube. I hope sanctions are gonna come because, it's.
Hope that wasn't a disrespectful comment. There is a reason that witches' breasts are cold. It's because they, as a witch, cannot produce milk, and that's a fact.
No, you're right. That virus is all over the place, man. Here is the same. Everybody, the virus you were talking about is all over the place. Here, everybody's sick here, man.
Oh, I'm not. I wear a mask where I go. It's just good. I don't do it for a political statement. I just don't like to get ill.
Yeah.
Anna Lizette says clickbait channels will continue to exist or be sanctioned by YouTube. True enough. I mean, I don't have time to police the internet with bad actors. I mean, it's too annoying. I just saw Molly's comment too. So I don't know. Molly says agree. Wallow was so unprofessional. That was the shrink, right? Hope the licensure board is taking a good look at her. Yeah. I don't like mixing it up on social media between a professional, amateur folks that are pertaining directly to the murder suspect in the case you're dealing with in the state you're living in. It don't make no sense to me. Sorry, I have common sense, and that ain't common sense. Not unless you want an appeal process to happen and get somebody out of prison that's guilty.
Oh, that was a disgrace.
It was a damn disgrace.
Yeah.
She should have known better. They can't police all those professionals all the time either. And we don't want people policing the internet for our private content. That's getting into our private shit, and crossing constitutional lines to me a little bit. At the same time, you have got to do better than that as a professional. You just have to.
Oh, that's the perfect example of messing with the case.
Exactly, but she's a paid professional. We're just amateur web sleuths, and we know better than that. Oh, I think we do now. I'm not saying at first we did, because quite frankly, I had never been a web sleuth before. I didn't know what was appropriate or not, but Sleuth made sure I was straight on that right away. You don't say names. You don't, you always have respect for the family, all that stuff. It came right from my original few sources that I liked: him, Kristen, Marvin, Frank, Steve, all those guys, even Sonny, Deb, Adam, all of them for me. And everyone has their own little sort of circle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like the Olympic, the 5 intertwining rings, where you could find 1 or 2 or 3 shows. Hey, wife Lilith.
Exactly. It's a matter of chemistry. I love Farmer. I love Steve. I love HCC. I love the captain. That's the type of crew that
I love the
I
captain.
don't hate create. I love her.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I like people that think out of the box and that don't just go for a big crowd just to do it, you know, or to be a sensationalist or keep hitting on the same avenues with the same titles to bring in unnew information. No one wants that. I'll hand that to Sleuth, man. Every show that he did on Delphi to me was interesting, even in the chat. Like, I enjoyed every single broadcast.
He's super smart.
He is super smart.
He has a great voice, and he worked hard to be where he is.
Absolutely. And he has a right to. He has a right here in this land to conduct his amateur broadcast any way he wishes.
Yep. And Lisette.
You know. And Lizette, there was fairly good information that some attached to the Delphi defense team were working with certain YouTubers. Yeah, well, in fact, Kristen said that in the interview I did with her as my second show. She said she had information.
But it's the same. Is the same in the other side? The prosecution was working with.
Turns out it is. We didn't know that at the time of the interview, but it does turn out it was the same. But she just noted how many typos and how much just misspellings and stuff. And I just said, you don't have to be an editor to figure that stuff out. You just have to be a proofreader. It doesn't make sense to go unprofessional like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ginger Snap says, I just feel if you're a creator, you have a platform that comes with a responsibility to not use it as a weapon against the public, officials, or rival creators. I agree with that 100%. You could just boil it right down to the first rule ever. Do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. Treat others the way you want to be treated. As above, so below. Yin and yang, the duality of life. It's not good versus evil. It can all be good. It's about the push-pull of the duality of it.
Yeah, there's a responsibility here for sure, man.
Yes, Farmer, do you Discord? I used to back when I had friends. Now I don't because I'm scared of Discord.
Why? I don't.
Well, it just hasn't worked out well for me. I'm not part of that group that I mentioned earlier. That was my biggest group.
How does it work? I tried once, but I was not into that.
I liked it okay. It's just like basically you have a channel, and then you can have all these segmented categories, whatever you want to dream up, for different conversations.
It's like a Reddit.
I guess so. But I don't know. I don't really run. I only went on Reddit a few times to read about a few different Delphi things. Like I don't find myself on Reddit. It seems like kind of a wasteland if you're not real familiar with the internet, and I'm not. Overall, I know how to Google, but like Reddit is a little heavy for me, man. Honestly, it's a lot going on there. I don't Twitter or tweet or whatever.
I love Twitter, man. I love it. That's my thing.
I won't ever be trapped into 144 characters of what have you guys ever heard me?
It's not like that anymore.
Run on?
It's not like that anymore. You have
you have unlimited,
almost 500 characters.
Well, I'm living in 1989, just like Indiana.
Yeah. We have
Junior from Michigan. Australia. Yes. From the 3021 Prakoa. I don't know what that means. Just one word. No idea. But Prakoa, Kofif.
He's very cryptic, man. I understand 50% of his comments, but
no idea. Precoa, yeah. To me, it's like that aluminum company, Alcoa or something. I don't know. Junior Johnson, hello from Michigan. Hello, Junior. Back to you from the southwest corner of Michigan, right here in Kalamazoo. True Crime Web, Laugh Out Loud Farmer. I'm not sure when I said it or what I said, but it was probably some goopy shit, Mr. Steve, and probably did make you chuckle a little bit. And that makes me happy. Anytime I make you chuckle, makes my night.
Yeah.
Molly, taking an active participation in tonight's wonderful chat. Sebastian Rogers case. Is that the what do you call them people? The can't get laid people?
No, this is the guy who was like walking around and he disappeared. No news. So it's a weird disappearance.
Wait. Oh, looking for. Oh, yeah. You know what I was thinking of when I read Sebastian? I do know the kid with the glasses. That's how I remember him. That poor kid was actually found, right?
I don't think so.
Well, it don't look good if it wasn't, and that's a sad case. But I was thinking Elliot Rogers, and that was that guy who was the incel guy that shot a bunch of women. I think at I say girls, they're women at a sorority. Like killed like I don't know 10 or 12 people because they wouldn't take the time to talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on a second. I gotta get my little guy in here. He's freezing his little schnuts off. Come on, little guy. Come on.
Still, humans make mistakes. Training allows minimizing the effect of those mistakes. For sure, training is really important in every field. I hope Farmer is gonna show his dog. I'm so curious.
Oh, hang on, I will. Oh, he went under the table too quick. Damn it! I was gonna lift him up. If I can snatch him, I'll lift him up. He looks like
What's his name?
Well, that one that was barking, that's Louie. That's my mom's dog. I don't have any animals that are mine.
Louis?
The other one is Mary Jane, but again, it's someone that left their dog here with me. Oh, come on.
People are waiting for your dog here, Farmer.
Yeah, well, it's like this constant thing where they got to go in and out and back and forth. Oh my God. And I'm freezing so bad back here, but this is where I sit because I don't smoke in the house, It's literally about 28 degrees on my back porch. Maybe a little warmer. I got a little fireplace, right? Wait, I can bend my camera down. Fireplace.
Oh, that's nice.
Well,
is it a real one?
No, electric.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
Shit,
Yeah.
nothing going in there, I hope.
Steve is talking about the importance of training.
Steve says humans make mistakes. Training allows minimizing the effect of those mistakes. Of course, I mean, it doesn't have to be web sleuthing, guys, or even crime scene investigation. It could be something as simple as making a pizza. You gotta at some point you gotta dive into the trenches and just get your feet wet, so to speak. I think that in crime scene investigation, you want to do that with the utmost care initially. But there is going to be a curve, nonetheless, to some degree of learning. I'd still like to have a question answered early on the Delphi case I just thought of, though, if you don't mind my spitting this one out. I always heard, and this could be total rumor, in the beginning, they said that they did not allow crime scene investigators to speak with each other to discuss what they found. Has anyone ever heard that or heard of that the team itself wasn't able to confer amongst themselves? Maybe there was a mixture of FBI and different crime scene investigators. I don't know. And people get whatever that word is, like, gang, like a gang or whatever, like super troopers, where they drink a little, have too many donuts and have a fist fight because they're angry, at each other. But I just wonder if anyone else ever heard that.
I don't know why they shouldn't talk to each other. To me, it doesn't make sense. It's the same team. But
unless you didn't, I mean, to me, it's like that. Those are people you would want to discuss things, but I don't know the ins and outs of that. And I don't even know if that's a fact, but it's something that was around as an early rumor. I swear that's what I heard. I've never heard that, says Matahari. I have no way to show that right now, so I won't push it, but I'm pretty sure I did hear that. Is that your dog this time?
Yeah, now it's my dog who's crazy.
That happens. Dogs are doing their job. When they think there's somebody around, they're going to protect the people that beat them. That's me.
Of course.
And they're very protective of me,
Mine is super protective, man. It's the best. Ginger, she wants to do a show with you, Farmer.
Okay.
So anytime, Ginger Farmer.
Email me, DJ Farmer. I can put that up in the chat. You guys care if I join the chat? I don't even know how to do that. I don't even know how to do that on this this damn StreamYard. I don't know how to do anything. Is this chat? Wait, I'm just gonna put a hi and see if that comes through. Hang on. Oh no, that's not chat. No, I don't know how to do it. Okay, so forget it. I don't want to chat. Poopy on that. But what was the question again?
Ginger, she wants to do a show with you.
Oh yeah, me too. I want to do that.
For sure.
Only on your channel because I can't produce. You see, I'll leave you in the green room with no craft service for days. You'll be hungry because I don't know how to make it go on the air. It's a good idea and concept, but I do like going on other people's shows more where they can just pull me on the air and I can blabber on. It's really what I'm good at anyways. No one ever called me a producer.
You are. Steve is talking about my background.
Oh, let's see what he says here. Cryptex's background is the most diverse and interesting topics imaginable. You got Bigfoots, Bigfoot, aliens, upside down pew pews. You got upside down guns up there? What's a pew pew? Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, that's Vince Vega and Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Yeah, this is from the Tarantino movie, Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite movies, of course. I remember when that movie came out. I was working my second pizza job in 1990. Cryptex's background is we already read the first part. Upside down guns and Tony Hall. I don't know.
Actually, it's Tony Hawk. It's a famous.
Got you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's
famous skater.
Yeah, I never got into skateboarding as much as I like punk rock music. You just didn't ever put nothing this big on little wheels and send it down a hill. It's not smart. I didn't ski. I don't ski. I don't want to go on some piece of wood down a steep hill fast because I crash. I sled. If I do something, I sled because it's fun. It's fun to sled.
It's really fun. Yeah. I do skate, snowboard, ski,
really?
but not as before. My legs, my knees are destroyed already. Yeah. So
my knees are never did that shit. Got perfect knees. Well, Mitch Westerman leaked the photos, of course, when Baldwin. Molly, I'm just reading it like that. Westerman leaked the photos when Baldwin left the war room open. Right. I do remember that now that you mention it, and passed them around. Basically, Baldwin allowed them to be leaked, in my opinion, and mine too, because how dumb could you be? Oh, Hulk's not forgot, left the room with all the pictures of dead kids out there. You don't do that shit. Then you don't deserve to have a license. Okay, I guess so people would talk more about Odin.
About what?
Odin.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that mythical character from Nederland. Molly says, who marked the tip cleared and put it in some old box that Kathy Shank, the hero, found and realized was important and brought it to Liggett? Question mark. Attention, give her a reward. I agree. Who marked that tip cleared? How do we boil that down? What does that mean? So somebody would have taken that information, that interview that Doolin did, if he indeed passed it off to anyone. I mean, we don't know after Doolin interviewed the dude what the next step in the process was, do we? What happened then?
Oh, that's going to be always a mystery here, for sure.
Shouldn't have to be if people are answering the question honestly, and we're talking about all law enforcement people, so they're always 100% above board and never do anything wrong. We know that.
Look at this comment from Veronica.
Veronica says, to Molly, I thought the same, but I saw crime scene photos the evening they were found by locals.
So the pictures were there since day one.
That's why I've always said the locals around that area, Veronica, I'm sure that you must live around there or something. They know a lot more. I mean, there were plenty of comments made on some of these ancillary social media sites like 4chan and things like that through the years. It says everyone knows Ricky did it. Well, that was like 4 years before or 2 years before he got arrested. You don't call many people Ricky in a town of like what, 1,800 people?
3,000, I think.
Right. How many Rickies are there?
5. I don't know.
I doubt it. I doubt there are 5 Rickies. There might be some Richards and some Ricks and other things, but I don't know many adults that want to be fucking called Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
Like if my name was William and you called me Billy, I think we'd have a problem.
Pardon me.
Yeah, well, that's nice though. That's like your way of saying, "Hey, we're buddy." You know, like that doesn't bug me. What I'm saying is, you can throw someone's name around disrespectfully by calling someone a Ricky or a Billy. Maybe he liked it. Other people called him Ricky. I mean, it might have just been his nickname.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, no wonder he turned out to be a serial killer. Liking a name like that is just not cool, man.
It's not. Steve is addressing your question about the correctional officer regarding the federal condition, let's say.
Right. But I do believe that state level, I guess I don't know, and I'm not going to argue with Mr. Steve about Georgia. That's for damn sure. Other than they grow peaches there, and I know that. But I just thought Department of Natural Resources was a federal department, and that the designation for that conservation officer to be a lieutenant of the Department of Natural Resources in that state was a federal endorsement from them. Not that they were necessarily federal agents of the state, but that they were endorsed federally to get that title, is what I understood when I read it. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I will tell you that the requirements for a fish and game warden and a lieutenant of the Department of Natural Resources are not the same. And that one requires training 101 from a state level approved police academy. So wherever that's at in Indiana, and that includes crime scene investigation, crime scene taping off and securing, sexual assault interviewing, and witness interviewing. Listen to what I'm saying. He was trained in that, but forgot to mention it for nearly 6 years to anyone else.
Yeah, I really don't know anything about that.
Well, I read about it, so I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
True Crime Web says, Molly, I've met some park rangers, but those were unarmed. My only dealings with the Coast Guard was while fishing in the Gulf. Of course, yeah. And they don't mess around either. They have every law enforcement right out there on that water, from what I understand. I mean,
anyway,
drug interdiction. I mean, if they're chasing a criminal, they don't go, well, we're Coast Guard, we don't have to chase you. In fact, I think obviously their search and rescue abilities probably preempts them more as more than a law enforcement agency. But if you look at a fully trained lieutenant of the Department of Natural Resources and the things they are trained in, very similar to Coast Guard minus ocean. You have water training, you have diving training. That's things that normal cops don't have, but DNR has to. As a lieutenant, you have to. You're the boss. And there are requirements for that. And if anyone would bother to Google those requirements in the state of Indiana, it would show you what they are. Miley, laugh out loud at me. Of course, I don't think meteorologist is the best example for scientists predicting things correctly. I mean, I agree, but they're much better now than they were when we were kids. I guarantee you that. We have 3 inches of snow out of nowhere. Well, I'm not sure where you live. If you live anywhere near a big lake, they can't predict that because it just takes a little bit of wind over open water to make a crazy amount of snow and stuff. Wife Lilith says, witch? Someone summoned me? I know, I was just explaining why witches had cold breasts. And that's because they can't produce milk. Because they're witches. That's the rule.
I'm glad wife Lilith is back.
Me too. Hope you're doing well, wife Lilith. I'm not sure where you was at. I don't know if you had to go into hiding, but I hope if you did, you whoop somebody's ass and you're doing better now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I hope we can do the show we
anytime.
To do. We are here for you.
To it anytime. I don't like to push people. I'll ask a couple times. I'm not a sycophant, a stalker type. Like, if you make it clear you don't want to, be part of that right now, maybe you have some personal things going on. Maybe you just don't. You go, shit, I don't really like these guys that much, and that's fine too. Maybe. If that's the case, so wait, I don't see how that's possible. Me and Cryptex are the 2 most charming duo on the entirety of the internet. Elena Lizette says the press is not restricted in the U.S. No degrees or licenses required. But certain laws apply to all. Amateurs can be sued for defamation. Of course they can. Same as big networks. Slander is slander. Defamation is defamation. If you run somebody's character down to detriment, especially financially, your ass is getting sued.
Analyze it again.
In the recent Delphi trial, untrained reporters were the only source for fairly complete coverage, as far as I know. I don't know what an untrained reporter is. You know, maybe they have a natural instinct and they follow the AP standards for reporting and they wing it and do better than the pros do. I agree. Credentialed journalists were working for short articles and sound bites. Didn't used to be that way. It's too bad the way it's gone. It really is. I mean, I don't want to sound like an old fart, you know, but in the old days, before the internet and before you could have a camera in the courtroom, one, there were a lot more qualified artists in our country because they could actually not make it look like a bad Peanuts character, like they did in Delphi. I don't know what that was or who that was supposed to represent, other than the worst art I've ever seen.
No, it was great to have people like Tom Webster there. He
that
did
was
a
excellent, absolutely. But I'm saying, in the old days, reporters, here's some people don't have a staff of reporters anymore. We got to start there. They can't afford to pay them. Feet on the ground. There was a reporter in every time zone for a paper, you know, for sure, if not multiple, depending on the time zone. Maybe not in BFE, you know, Missouri time zone, but no offense, but on the coast, there were definitely several. And these are people that the phone would ring at 3 a.m. and boom, you know, they were in their 76 Bolaire and heading their ass off to the beach to find the body with the cops. You know, and write the story up and interview the people. And no one wants to get off their asses anymore. They want to make money right here in front of their computer. I refuse to monetize. It's not about money to me. I don't want your money.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I want to work for a living. I want to sell my house, buy a car and a cargo van and make a living at what I do best. And that's delivering 500,000 city miles over 35 years with zero at-fault accidents or moving infractions. Thank you.
No, but I'm just saying that we were lucky to have someone like Tom Webster there.
Absolutely.
He did a better job than
I agree.
trained or accredited journalists.
And again, you're going to see where amateur, whether it's web sleuthing, whether it's radio, it doesn't matter. Well, I mean, radio's dead, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll find that if there's a missing area, a hole, in entertainment or broadcasting, the amateurs can fill that spot now quickly through several different services over a number of different subjects. And I would challenge that, much like many talented people, a lot of these media types and superstars on television were only called that, just like those radio stars of days old, because someone's greasing the pockets of the person to pay those people to be those people. And that the people that aren't getting paid, that are setting the standard, like hopefully we will be. Oh, if people want to get paid, that's fine. I'm nothing against that. It's a personal decision.
Yeah,
that's all. It's totally personal, and I am a member to many shows. I pay out of pocket. I contribute. I share. I try to do that stuff because that's what people want. They want to share their brand with everybody. I'm just a little more bitter and more punk rock than that. I don't want any unwanted clicks. If you don't want to fucking click on me, then don't. You know, I don't care.
But if you are doing that for a living, you're gonna need that money too. If you are working just to be a YouTube,
repeat that sentence twice to yourself. If you're doing that for a living,
yeah,
it's a big internet, man. It's a real big.
Or
internet.
if you are spending a significant amount of time to do that, maybe. I don't know. I understand that, you know, the monetization.
I do understand it too. And some creators absolutely are so compelling. I mean, I started shelling out for Sleuth Show the very first interview. And the first thing I ever heard was when he interviewed JP, Julian Powell.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just then I was sold. That was it. I had no idea this was going on amateur broadcasting. Boom, $10 a month. Right. You know, I didn't even have to think twice about it because to me, the talent, I do like that about the model. I don't know what percentages, you know, YouTube takes and all that crap, but I like the model where the talent gets paid and you cut out the middle person who's basically there just to introduce you to the person that you need to be talking to in the first place. So really, they're the venture capitalist, if you will, in the process. And if anybody knows me, making money off money means somebody's getting screwed in the process. I don't do stocks. I don't do bonds. I don't do Bitcoin.
Yeah, 100%.
Divest yourself immediately. And if there's a corporation that you don't want to support, then buy used. It won't give them new dollars, but you still get the product, like guns. I wish my liberal friends would listen to me.
Let's go with Veronica.
Oh, it's Veronica. Nice to have you here. If that is you in that picture, first of all, you are outstandingly sophisticated looking. Like, you look like you should be living in Manhattan and like one of those upper society. I wouldn't even be allowed to look at you in real life. Veronica, creators lose my respect and accountability when they involve themselves in drama and dox people. Certainly. I've never considered doing that one time. Also, I just put my name and shit right out there. Derek Farmer, 1608 Jefferson, Kalamazoo, Michigan, 49001. Houses for sale on realtor.com. Check me out. Buy it. It's a great deal. I'm underpriced in a hot market. Your kids go to college for free here. By the way, we got a new thing in Kalamazoo, paid for by the Foundation for Excellence, which, as you don't know, but I'm going to tell you, is all privately donated money. No tax burden. Every pregnant woman in the city of Kalamazoo gets $7,500, regardless of your income level. You could be a millionaire or a nothingaire. You get the same $7,500 because in Kalamazoo, we don't discriminate.
Great, man. Are you having visits?
From like mental health people or from
to sell the house?
I'm not getting enough showings, man. It's really taking a mental toll on me. I'm having breakdowns. That I'm underpriced in a hot market after I put my lifeblood into this place. I mean, you guys have seen the pictures. The place looks fucking great. Every room, 3 coats of paint. I mean, all new floor. I mean, I did most of the things. This house is 130 years old. Okay.
Wow.
And it's more solid than a new house. It doesn't have any drywall in it. It has plaster with those wooden slats in back of it. And the wood in my wall, as far as just the studs go, is virgin pine from before Chicago burnt down.
Yeah, man. Me too. I'm in the same situation. I'm selling my condo and no visits. It's like you have a wait here trying to, come on, move it, but patient.
Well, yeah, and then, and it's like I said, like there's not a house in this town in Kalamazoo that's under $100,000. I'm right at 100 now. I started out at 115 3 weeks ago, and it's still starting out the house up one half up the block. It's definitely, they've done more work modernizing it, but it's 180.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here at 100, ready to go down to 89 fucking 9. I got to get rid of this house or I'm gonna go crazy. And your kids go to 4-year university here if they live in this town and they qualify. I mean, what a great town.
It's going to happen.
It's called the Kalamazoo Promise, and all these things are funded privately, not through a tax burden. You don't have to pay for them. It's just something you get when you live here, along with that $7,500 if you get knocked up here, and also along with senior services that do incredible work. They'd rather pay to keep you in your home and pay a relative to watch you than have you in a nursing home. Bring you food, Meals on Wheels every day. They even bring the pets food for free if you need it.
It's going to happen. It's a matter of patience, man.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't happen by March 13th, I lose everything because it's already been sold in a sheriff's sale. So I have 1 year in Michigan because of the amount of equity I have in this house. I've been here 25 fucking years, okay? And I've never cashed in my equity. I've never taken an equity line. I've never refinanced my loan. I've just paid.
It's very
and
stressful.
Now that, I've been sold in a sheriff's sale, I still have 1 year to what they have called to go through remittance. And that means I have a year to pay what I owed on it, which was only $28,000. In today's money, folks, for a 3-bedroom house, that ain't much. But to lose everything for $28,000, it's going to feel like about the worst day ever in my life. And I don't know if I'll be able to even deal with that shit, man. But that's not till March 13th, 2025. But, these are the worst months to sell in. I didn't get the house done in the summer like I should have. Everything went to shit, man.
cross fingers, it's gonna happen, man. For
Yeah,
sure.
man. I know, man. I mean, I've done a lot of work. I put in the effort. I have to leave this house. I don't even have a car that's running right now. So it's snowing. I have no boots. Every time someone does want to do a showing, I got to schlep 2 dogs and myself and walk them for an hour. The fuck am I supposed to go?
Yeah, man.
It's
Very
sucks.
stressful.
It
Very
sucks.
stressful. I know.
It's very stressful. I absolutely don't love this process. But after it's sold and I buy my cargo van, I already got a place lined up to live in 2 vehicles in a cargo van. I'm good to go. I just need somebody with cash or a 30-year conventional to let's go.
Yeah.
You know, it's an investment, but I'll tell you what, this house has solid bones, and an inspection by a professional inspector will tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go with Molly.
Molly. Sebastian Roberts is a 14, 15-year-old boy with autism. Yeah, it dawned on me who I know that Sonny did a ton of shows on him too. Disappeared from his house in the middle of the night. Doesn't make any sense. He hasn't been found. So he hasn't been found. Mom and SF seem real sus. What's SF? Special friend. Got you. Friend with benefits, whatever.
We
sure.
have Barbara.
I thought they were too. Yeah.
We have Barbara.
Hey Barbara, how you doing? I was in the show. I think it was about a week or 2 ago. That we did on your kid's case, Timmy. Really sad case. I'm real sorry about that. I hope it gets some momentum going here soon. And hello to you. And she says hi to everyone in the chat.
And she just started her own channel, Timmy's Legacy.
Oh, man, really?
Her first show, it was like 200 subscribers right away. People were participating.
I don't have that.
Steve was there. Awesome, man. So people, please go to subscribe to Barbara's channel.
Absolutely.
Awesome channel. And we're gonna continue.
Are we actually, Lily? We're 20 minutes behind in chat. That means people are actually watching us. How many people are watching us? I didn't even know. I mean, I just figure if we're not talking Delphi, we may have maybe 12 people watching us.
34.
I don't know.
34 right now.
Sweet. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah. So again, please go subscribe to Barbara's channel.
And you guys, I'm not turning anyone away. Derek Farmer here. If you want to subscribe to my channel, it's at Derek DEREK _ Farmer FARMER. That's my name. A couple things I don't bullshit about is my name and where I'm from. My name's Derek Farmer, and I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Timmy's Legacy. Hi to Matahari. Ginger Snaps. You can probably guess. Oh, I'm sorry. 2. You could probably guess. I don't want to name drop in a fellow creators chat, but we all were over there, and you are, in fact, a mod for him. Oopsie. Fuck that one up. Molly, Pew Pew equals Star Wars. I don't know. Molly, that Pew Pew looks like Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
Quentin Tarantino movie.
Exactly.
Which didn't even play in Kalamazoo when it played originally. You had to drive an hour north to Grand Rapids to watch it.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't do it. My roommate was a big fan at that time because he had already drove, I think, to Lansing or Ann Arbor to see Reservoir Dogs. Not even Grand Rapids.
That's the best movie from Tarantino. Reservoir Dogs, man, I love it.
I loved it. It's a great early movie, but I mean, I like a lot of his movies. There's just basically a couple I don't care. The one with like that Wild West theme. I just didn't do anything. But I like the Nazi one where they were killing Nazis. That was fun.
But
Christoph Waltz was excellent.
Inglourious Bastards with
I thought it was excellent. I also, one that never gets enough credit to me is what was the other half of Planet Terror? What the hell was it? With Kurt Russell. I love that movie. That's a great one.
Great.
Yeah.
The 2 or 3 recent ones, so, but the first ones, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction,
Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Pussy Wagon.
Analyzette,
as per descriptions of the Delphi crime scene pictures and reproductions made by some, I don't think the general public would instantly think, Odinus! Did they damn it, Analyzette. Right. I'm not sure they would think that either, but according to some, they were still arranged in a pattern. No one said, I don't think anyone's agreed that it was Odinism. That was a narrative, I think, pushed by the defense also. But again, I said last week, it wasn't as if they threw them over their backs and they landed randomly wherever they did.
I wouldn't say Odinist, but ritualistic, yes. And not in the sense of religion. Ritualistic in the sense, in the personal sense for the killer.
Well, or ritualizing something, a scene, something to remember, something you would want to take a picture of, as the former prosecutor said. Okay, Linda's Looking Miller. Did I say that right? That quick? Linda's Looking Miller. It is true. Those photos were being circulated by a small group in 2017. You must be from the area. I wonder what you know. Probably more than I do.
Yeah.
But that's too bad that was going down anyways, and then they tried to act like it wasn't. Because the way they made it sound, then they blamed the whole defense for that. So they took all the heat for those pictures being out there, but it does sound like it was from that source at that time to get it out to all the creators. And I think that's where, so some locals may have saw them in 2017. I don't think those made those rounds to the creators and to a wider internet audience until they were made public by the defense's buddy or whoever that dude was. Precaution says, okay, the tip. The call would come in. Tip gets input into Orion's system, assigned to Doolin. Interview. Doolin would enter report. Orion would need another input. System reminds about leads to follow up on. Okay, fair enough. Was it put into Orion initially or after it was rediscovered? That's my question. Precaution says Orion will have logged the keystrokes and user who made any command, so they should know what happened. If it was put into that system, do we have word that it was? Precaution. Absolutely put into that system. Anna Lizette says Doug Carter had a whole lecture on why the word cleared was never used. They only use covered, and that's not true. But I'll tell you why in a second. All the while, R.A. Whiteman was described as in a file marked cleared. Oh, well, you already know that. Sorry, I didn't read that. You're always right, too. Like, always right. But you're right. In fact, it was a statement given by the Indiana State Police to the Associated Press in 2019 that said the first sketch is no longer a person of interest. Mm-hmm. If that doesn't essentially equate to cleared, not sure what does. We can do doublespeak all day, but they were clear about what cleared meant then. Why they changed their mind later? No, let's see. Doug Carter. Okay, next comment. Let's rock. Lily Shaw, I can't believe I missed this. Didn't get a notification. Love the farmer and Cryptex together. Thanks. Great thing about it is recorded, right? And you're here now. And we're still live right now. That I guess we got to go an extra 2 hours just for Lily Shaw so she gets the full show.
There's always the replay option here.
Always.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So let's see, where are we at? We're gonna get through all of them. We're not leaving nothing unturned here. Lily Shaw, question. Where did that alias come from when Richard Allen was arrested? Remember, I researched him. He and his friends on Facebook with the Kiki Men crew who are friends with DG. Oh, those are the really old days. I was kind of referring to some of that stuff as lessons learned in the past by not overly naming people we weren't sure were involved. I'm not saying you're doing that. You're actually being very careful, but there was a lot of P-word last names of brothers and sons and shit getting out that like they're definitely in on this and blah blah blah. Well, didn't seem like they were now, so we just threw them under the bus because they were drug dealers before. Like, this is not right to do to people. And I think I'm not preaching to anyone, okay? I think lessons were learned that were positive. I just think that having a guideline set forth by those professionals in the first place maybe would have prevented some of that, and maybe might prevent some of the you know, some of the feelings that the law enforcement has towards people like us anyways. They think we're just doing shit that we just have no business in. Well, I got news for you. This is still America. As long as we're not getting mixed up in your case or getting in your way of your evidence or doing anything wrong, we'll do what the fuck we want, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, people are
Willie Shaw, Farmer, and Cryptex are about 20 minutes behind in chat. Love them. That's good news because that means people are talking in the chat, and I love that. USA Libertarians back. I remember reading a ton of good comments from them a couple shows ago. They try not to say cleared publicly. Yeah, I get that, and they shouldn't unless that person is cleared. Well, I released to the Associated Press in 2019 that person had been investigated and was no longer considered a person of interest. Isn't that essentially the same thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the link of Farmer's channel here in the chat,
Please
guys.
do. I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm not a one-trick pony. I have UAP videos up that I recorded personally that have been verified by crime scene reconstruction specialist Scott Roeder. I have no problem saying that because it's the truth.
So you have the link in the chat.
Hey, that's my name. Yep,
it's the guy.
That's the guy. Nana 73. Hello, Barbara. I've seen Nana around. I think Nana might be in my first 5 of my own personal subscribers, and quite frankly, if I don't remember wrong, she helped me through some pretty rough times myself personally. Yeah. Matahari, I'll sub to Farmer. Can someone drop the link? Just did. Boom. Thanks, Matahari. I appreciate that. We have a real open community over there. Just basic golden rule thing, you know. Hey, everybody, slam that thumbs up button while you're sitting right there. I think I should too, right? I like Cryptex. He's pretty cool.
Thank you, guys. And you know, when you were talking about the Delphi community that you miss because you are not going to Sleuth's channel and you have friends there and you miss those people. You know, here there's another community linked to Barbara Hall, and there's a great community, man. I'm so glad to connect with those people. Matahari, you have Dago. Dago was in the show the other time with us and Barbara. You have Arctic Fox. Arctic Fox is awesome, man.
Arctic Fox, yeah.
Even Analysette is there as well. It's a great.
Definitely like Analysette. I mean, no, I don't feel like I don't have any community. I'm just saying, if anyone knows me, which I doubt anyone does, besides a few people on this web sleuth kind of thing, my own friends and family don't watch this stuff with me. They have no idea I do this, barely. You know, but they know that. What were you just saying? Damn, I am really losing my brain. Oh, thanks, Nana. That was so nice. Oh my God, that is so flattering.
Thank you so much, Nana. Nana is super generous.
Of course, it's only worth $7.99 in Canada, but damn it, thank you.
That's great.
Totally.
No, we were talking about the community, the guys you're missing.
Oh yeah. You're right. I mean, I just feel like I'm not lacking any community. I mean, I definitely feel like, one, I have my own channel with a few people that are like, we've been with your sorry ass since the beginning. We're staying, you know. The Cryptex factor for me is good. That, I mean, I certainly wasn't going on that show nearly as much as I used to. Not that I wasn't able to or welcome to. It just was I just wasn't doing it that much. I like coming on this show a lot because I feel like I don't know. I just feel like I've gotten better at broadcasting over the last year or two a little bit. I've learned a little bit in terms of how to sort of slow down and let the other person formulate a thought, I hope, and to definitely pay attention to people's questions, you know, and try to answer those thoroughly. I mean, I think part of this model of this amateur broadcast is the fact that the people in the chat get to be part of the broadcast.
Right.
Which brings me to a point. If anyone has any good ideas on rules for this handbook, jot them down so we can go over it on another show. I really would appreciate that feedback. Or even who to talk to or how to go about getting this done without being personally involved in it. Because quite frankly, I'm not qualified to write a guidebook for web sleuth standards. That's not what I do. I'm qualified to write a book on shortcuts of how to get to point A to point B delivering pizza and charge a lot of money for that. But now with the internet, no big deal. I don't care.
We can write
Precaution says great early Tarantino 4 rooms. Yeah, I remember that. Though I can't remember which room was his, but he always does make an appearance at some point in the movie. Tim Roth was in that movie also. Yeah, I remember that. He played a bellboy.
So Melissa, no, Farmer, he has his own channel, and you have the description, the link.
Yes, I do have Bioch. It says, Melissa asks, is this your channel, Farmer, with Cryptex, or you have your own channel? I always go on Cryptex's channel because Cryptex knows how to
Actually, this is the Farmer's channel with Cryptex.
Well, that's nice to say, but I mean, I don't think that those super chats are coming to my bank account. Just kidding, Cryptex. I'm fucking with you. You deserve those because you have the members. I'm coming on here as your guest, you know. Like you have the idea. Although I did bring finally one idea tonight, and that's this dumb handbook idea. That's what I got, folks. I didn't feel like talking about murder tonight per se. I didn't feel like delving into another Delphi topic tonight. Not because I don't think it's worth talking about. If it's worth talking about, but I think it needs a little break right now. For me personally, so I'm just rolling with that, but I don't really have a lined up cold case with the exception of a very close friend's brother, again, who was shot in his blacksmith shop and murdered in Cass County, Michigan about 12, 13 years ago by now. And I worked with his son. I even don't really want to say this on the air, but I mean, it's a tragic story. I worked with his only son, and he ended up committing suicide because no one's ever caught his father's killer. So now my friend Ursula has no brother and no nephew and no other siblings.
Holy shit. No, man, we are going to cover that case. It's really interesting.
And all the dude was doing was
I'll be glad to be with you in that adventure.
You know, as something tells me there's probably a racial overtone here. You're out in the country. The person that they suspect, who I'm not going to name any name, Cryptex, I'll give you that information behind the scenes, you know, if you do want to do this, so you can do your own sort of digging around.
Sure.
But I do have a name.
Okay.
And a name that, like I said, law enforcement isn't willing to look at because they call the cases cold. They're done with it. It was just a black guy in a blacksmith shop. How often does that happen? How often do black dudes work out in the middle of the country in their own blacksmith shop, where they're bending metal with their bare hands and hot fire? What could there be that's more rudimentarily grounded in salt of the earth work than to own your own property? And they were the first black family in that county from the 1830s. That was their family land.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, this is a very interesting case, man. We're gonna dig into that.
Not right, man. It's not right. And something needs to be done. They deserve justice like any other family does.
Of course, 100%.
It's whatever best it can look like at that point, with, you know, the preface that once a loved one's taken, there can be, in my opinion, no true justice. Even like I said, if you take them apart stem by stem, that's still not going to bring back the person that, you know, they took. So unfortunately, they can't even be here to enjoy you taking them apart stem by stem. So there can never be true justice, maybe only a little bit of peace of mind for the loved ones that are left behind.
Yeah, man, I got it. Let's talk about that behind the scenes. And
sure, I'd love to. And I'd love to introduce you to my good friend Ursula.
For sure. Veronica.
Veronica, locals took pics, I believe, from search. I saw a photo in 2017, not the same photos released. That's interesting.
Analyze it.
I have a question.
Yep.
What kind of private citizen would want to take a picture of 2 dead little girls?
What's the question?
Why would a private citizen feel they had the right to take a picture of 2 dead little girls? I would never feel like that was appropriate. I don't know what kind of motherfuckers are living down in Indiana. Or probably the same kind that are up here, but if you're just taking pictures of a scene
if you do that and you send the picture right away to law enforcement, I think it's a good thing because you're gonna have some
because their crime
document.
scene people can't take a million
Yeah.
pictures of the same exact thing. No, actually, what you should be doing is removing yourself from that environment and alerting someone immediately you found 2 dead bodies. Not standing there taking fucking pictures of it, in my opinion. Whoever did that should be smacked upside your head.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a story. I was riding my bike once over a bridge, and I saw a guy jumping from the bridge. So he committed suicide.
Yeah.
And I took a picture from the bridge.
Yeah. Of him going
to
off.
I took a picture,
Oh.
but I stayed there waiting for the police. And when the police guy came,
That's a little different, man. You were able to provide a perspective immediately after something happened for a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing where when you have 2 dead bodies that aren't moving,
yeah,
of 2 little girls, that you would even bother to take a picture and not just start screaming, I found them or whatever, you know, like how could you even then think after they were found to try to scamper on over there to get yourself a quick, selfie? What's wrong with you, man? Get a life. Get a life.
You said a good word before, motivation. So
what is the motivation for something like that? Honestly, to sell it to a newspaper, to sell it to someone to make money. That's a sick individual who should be beat.
Yeah. If not, what's the other option? To call the police and to stay there until having the police.
Sakes, I mean, there were 200 people looking for him, right? I mean, you wouldn't have had to go too far to find a cop, I don't think, in that situation to alert someone he found 2 dead bodies.
Mm-hmm. No. 100%.
I just think it was a selfish move. I could see if, okay, let's remove ourselves from Delphi. And you're just randomly mushroom hunting like all these people seem to be doing all the time. I don't think that many people even like mushrooms. I don't know what's going on out there in the woods. But anyways, everyone's mushroom hunting or whatever. And you find a body, right? Like a lot of them do. Hunters, mushroom hunters. Probably people like me, metal detectorists, who will go out in the woods to metal detect. Mm-hmm. Guess what people wear? What makes more sense when you're out in the woods looking for maybe a body? Something that has metal attached to it, or looking for a little plant that grows randomly, not ever in the same spot twice, during not the same times of year, and not even a guarantee they're going to grow.
Yeah, no.
I think grab a metal detectorist and assume that somebody who was murdered, if they had any article of clothing on them, it would have had a zipper, a button. And if your detector is set to all metal mode and you have a quality detector to some degree, doesn't even have to be super quality, $500, $1,000. I have a Mind Lab Safari. It's old, but it's good. Multi frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put it in all metal mode, you are then able to decipher brass, iron, gold, silver, to a degree, to a range. And knowing that certain clothing items may be heavier in metals, then like you're pretty sure you're not going to be finding people with gold zippers, right?
Right.
I mean, unless you find like a killing field of 70s pimps. Okay. What I'm saying is you're not going to find that. But if you find and you have to factor in also that when you're metal detecting, it gives you a signature, a size signature. So when you're going back and forth this way, and then you're moving, you're going this way, and then this way, and then this way, you're able to paint a mental picture where that beep is hitting. Because every time that's hitting a beep, it's hitting the edge of where it's starting. And then you can hear the secondary. There's a secondary tone where it comes off the other edge. Now, imagine a dime, an American dime, right? If it's 1964 or before it, we know that it is silver. It's going to ring up completely different than in 1965, which is only, I think, 35% silver. And by 66, there was no silver. It was just a wafer, a colored wafer of copper with a silver color around it. That was nickel, most likely, but not silver. So now imagine taking that same dime. So now between the years, and it's a small signature dime, right? So going over it's going to be a quick high tone, just like bing, 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 bing. You know what I mean? It's not going to be, say, a well, think of it just like a door handle off of a like 78 LTD. You know, those real long ones. They always rusted off. You know, back when all 4 doors had their own handles and locking mechanisms, and it didn't cost extra for 2 doors. It cost extra for 4 because there was more of them. And it did make a little more sense. Anyways, now take that same dime that's laying in the ground. Wait, let me get my hand right. Oh, wait, I have a coin here. Let me just show you for an example here. Oh, Mr. Right. Steve, if he's probably not listening, he you know, he's got a lot going on. But this penny here, where are we at? There we are. Okay. Penny's in the ground. Imagine it's, my fingers, by the way, that is an industrial caulk that I cannot get off my hand. If anyone knows of a way to get this shit off of me, it looks like scales are growing on my hand, but it won't come off. I can't scrub it off. It's ripping my skin. But now imagine that coin is laying, come back, like this in the ground. So when you go over it, you no longer have it at that signature, beep, beep. You got it at that signature, like that. And if you ain't listening real good, you miss it because it's on its side. And things migrate in the ground too. Take a sidewalk. One of the best places you can look for old coins and old jewelry is an old sidewalk, and right up against it, because right up against it is where everything stops. There's a sidewalk there. It's a ledge. And so as things push and move, they're going to come to that solid surface. If they're not too deep, they're really deep, they're going to go under the sidewalk. But sidewalks are pretty thick, believe it or not. I don't know why I'm even rambling on about this. I just want to let you guys know that I do know more than pepperoni.
Wow. That's not true. Analyze it.
It's not true. I don't know anything more. I don't know pepperoni. And Lizette, where are we at here? Legal experts have said it would have been better if the defense stuck with ritualistic and not tried to name a religion or group. And you're so right.
I agree. That was my point.
Yeah. Although I'm not even sure if it was that either. There's no definitive word on that. It was, I mean, I just don't know, because it seems like even after a trial in that town or that county, you still just don't know anything.
But Precocent, she has a good point here.
And we're going to read it. It says, those old sticks were arranged and did resemble runes. A family member tipped in an Odinist within 48 hours of finding the girls. The FBI was looking for things at Ron Logan's house. And the FBI did write Odin report. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't just out of thin air or nowhere, just like the Ron Logan search warrant wasn't. So people blow that off as if they know 100% that the reason Ron Logan had the motivation to make an alibi before the bodies were even discovered during that short 45-minute window was to cover up for his drunk driving. They know that for sure. 100%. I don't know anything 100%. I don't remember my middle name.
Yeah, no. 100%.
I'm not saying Ron Logan was involved, but I get damn sick of these blanket statements as if you do know 100%. When you're speculating, like the rest of us, the only people that may know more than us are the very people that have disdain for us, law enforcement. That's why we need a web sleuth standard on sleuthing.
So Lily Shaw, she talks to Analyzette, and I want to have Analyzette here in the show. I love her comments. I hope she can be here.
No, I mean, maybe she's not comfortable broadcasting. Yeah, and if that's the case, I'm not going to browbeat somebody into coming on the air trying to do that. But she's always welcome to, as far as I'm concerned. It's not my show.
Exactly. The doors are open. That's my point.
Absolutely.
100%.
For anybody, I think pretty much for anybody, right, Cryptex, for the most part.
Look at this.
And on that, Lily Shaw, he did say that. I would have no idea how to connect. I'm mostly a writer. Well, if you want, write down your thoughts. Take a picture of that and email it to me in Cryptex.
We're gonna help you to teach you how to connect if you want, for sure.
I'm not good at that, and I don't even know how to connect with other people, let alone to the internet. So I'm just on my own island. Precaution says definitely ritualistic, could be a first murder, but I lean towards not. He probably at least stabbed a bird once or twice, right? Didn't we have that in the video?
I agree. I don't think it was the first. For sure, it wasn't.
Can't say. I just won't say on something like that because I just don't know. And you could always say that, but at some point there was a first. I know 2 people controlling them, yada yada. Maybe he was an overachiever. Maybe he was an overachiever in a sick way. But I don't know it to not be true that he may have very well done it 4 different times or 17 for all I know. He could be a prolific serial killer for all I know. I would have no idea. You wouldn't think so. I mean, I'll agree with you that to take it something like that to that level, but I still contend if you're now he did say during one of his confessions that his intent was to sexually assault them. Is that correct? I thought that's what he said.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take him at his word for a second. He meant that. Let's just to play whatever advocate. So, okay, knowing that and knowing the law in Indiana, I mean, basically, if you're going to sexually assault 2 13 and 14-year-old girls and strong arm violently rape them, excuse my language, I don't mean to be doing a trigger warning thing, but I don't say words like essay and I don't say words like unalived for anyone because that's disrespectful to the family, in my opinion. And the constant threat from YouTube to demonetize amateur broadcasters for having somebody's family member on and saying my kid was murdered or sexually assaulted and then demonetizing the host is a bunch of bullshit and enough to make me want to quit broadcasting on YouTube altogether. And I won't even monetize. I don't want to be mixed up with it. You guys,
you have to name things by their name. I agree with you, Farm.
Yeah, well,
you have to name things by their name. 100%.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me read this here. Melissa Wildcard. I'm all about the Idaho case now. Flora and Evansdale. Those are 3 really solid cases, in my opinion, to be on. And if I was going to say, if I had to pick one out of there, I'd pick Flora. But Evansdale's right there. And Idaho is certainly one of those enigmatic cases when you start, why'd they tear the friggin' house down the first year? Who let them do, like they tore the whole house down? Somebody did. I don't know. I guess no one wants to go revisit the scene, but I suppose they got all the evidence out they could have. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me that it seemed like it was already kind of a new build. But I guess when some tragic shit like that happens, maybe you tear the house down. I don't know the answer to that, but that Idaho case definitely. If anyone's watched Lana from Truth and Transparency, I like her a lot. She's a good broadcaster. I'm talking about her. Whoever she thinks is guilty or innocent. I like good broadcasters. I like people that are good researchers. I find her to be both. Precaution says, Cryptex Farmer, I'd be willing to dig into that case if you'll have me. Are you talking about the one that's my friend, the Chapman case?
I think so.
If so, I mean, we're looking to have, we're looking to have qualified anybody's. We're not looking to hold people out. The whole idea of, to me, doing something like this is the hive mind process of sort of talking through it, with multiple people that have a lot of ideas. Anna Lizette says allegedly local Delphi people and family who were in the search took pictures of the crime scene. Look, if the family did whatever they did, I'm not going to get mad at them. And not the immediate family. I don't know about step uncles and cousins and what their intentions are, but I mean, if the mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister need that picture to finalize things for them in some way, I don't think anybody cares about that unless it affects the case. Of course, you can't be letting it out for evidence. Now, I just don't like the idea of taking pictures of car accidents and victims. I just don't. It's just weird to me, man. Like that kind of shit's just weird to me. Like I feel like it's disrespectful.
I think that there is like the shock element there. It's like a thing that is never gonna happen in your life again. It's so unique that maybe some people are just curious and they want to capture that moment. I understand your point, but
Yeah.
I try to understand why.
No, I do too. Yeah. And you know what? People get excited, you know. I mean, they think they see Jesus in the ice cream and they take a picture of that. Maybe, you know, that's disrespectful too. I don't know. I took a ride with Farmer back when he was podcasting from his delivery of pizzas in the snow. Anybody ever knows or watched me do that? I love driving in that snow. Nothing makes me happier than driving in the snow and loud music. I can't get out in the snow anymore. Love the ride. It's still up on the channel. That was fun.
What was that? What was that about?
No, I made it for Aura. Also, I said, you know, hey, I'm just going to take you on a delivery with me this morning. I was delivering food, and it was a bad winter storm, just really blowing and shit everywhere. And I had winter tires on the Honda, you know, like I always do, because I don't rely on summer treads or radials. When you live in Michigan, if you don't change your tires out twice a year, you're not doing it right. You got to put on snow tires.
Exactly.
That's the only thing with grip. And I fly around, man. I go up hills that four-wheel drives don't go up because I know A, how to drive, and B, I always have really good snow tires, and they help out tremendously.
Wow.
So Anna Lizette says, I'm sorry, go ahead, Cryptex. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I have to check on that video for sure. It's gonna be
yeah,
fun.
it's a short, it's only like 5 minutes or something. It's just me like cruising around, and I'm listening to loud ass really like psychedelic music. Anna Lizette, I'd take pictures of a crime scene. First photos may do good for an investigation. If that's your intent, great.
That was my point, yeah.
Is that everyone's intent?
No, for sure.
People are selfish.
Yeah.
You're not.
Motivation again.
Yeah.
Veronica.
I understand the verbal dislike of the photos taken by Searcher. It was shocking. And they sent it to Ellie right away. Good on them. Even though it was said differently in court how they were found. Well, I feel like Veronica may know a thing or two more than I do. Because I think she's probably from around the area. And I'll take her word for that. I do. Junior Johnson says I learned more from the chat than any news channel. I would say I would contend that it depends on the subject matter. But certainly in terms of Delphi, I bet you do. And maybe other things also. I mean, first you're going to meet more real people than you're going to meet in a CNN chat, you know, with 1 million people that don't care about each other. All they care about is like, F Israel, and then like, it's like, wait, we're not even talking about it. What's going on? We're not even talking about the Middle East. What do you do? Let's see. Anna Lizette says, I have no idea how to link into a panel. Well, you don't have to. That's a great thing. When Cryptex is the producer, he pulls you right in. You just go to your email, hit the StreamYard link, and he does the rest. I have been so severely hacked on YouTube that 2 of my devices now belong to something in Maryland. Maryland's a lovely state, by the way. Your devices are at least residing in a beautiful state. I'm afraid to mess with YouTube. I'm so sorry, Anna.
Yeah,
well, except for Baltimore. I mean, every John Waters film ever made was filmed in Baltimore, Maryland, and it's not gorgeous in the 70s.
I think we are done with the chat.
Are we really already? Oh man. What about Veronica's comment? I didn't read that.
It's more than 2 hours. You want to continue?
It felt like
you want to, I will.
I don't know. I mean, no, we don't have to. I mean, I got to pee anyways. Veronica says, you know, I'm not from Delphi. No. I love Monticello, the town next to Delphi. I visit often. I live in Indiana Beach. And some restaurants. Oh, I got you. Oh, you love Indiana Beach and some restaurants in the area. I don't know what an Indiana Beach is. Here in Michigan, we literally have 3,000 miles of coastline, so I don't know what a beach looks like in Indiana.
We have to go to Indiana, man.
I don't have
to. For sure.
You can't make me. You can't make me, Cryptex. I have no desire unless I'm meeting other people there that I like. I don't want to go creeping around that town alone, man, because I don't trust it down there. It's creepy to me. Oh, you don't think so? You don't see me out. First of all, I don't go into the woods alone. Anyone knows me knows that. I will not go into the woods alone. I feel safer in a big city, safer in a car than a plane, safer in a big city than the woods.
Yeah,
only from my personal experiences. Well, not the plane so much, but the woods thing, you know.
You're not going to be alone. You're going to be with me. I'm not sure if you're going to be safer. But
yeah,
at least we are not gonna die alone, man.
No, if you actually behind me, but you're all the way up in Montreal. I mean, how you ever do they even let? I mean, do they let Colombian people across the border from Canada?
Yeah, no, it's super friendly here, man. I love
Not
it.
here. I'm talking on our side. We're the assholes. We're like, you can't come in. You can't. It's like, well, wait, they're spending all their money here. Like, let them in.
You are, man.
No, but I'm just saying. Have you been to America before?
Yeah, for sure.
Where have you been in America?
Atlanta, New York,
I've never been either.
California in Disneyland, Miami, multiple states. A lot.
Beautiful down there.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so you like it's a vacation thing probably, or maybe business at one time or something.
A couple of times for business, a couple of times visiting some friends. And
all your family is up there or something? Would you ever consider moving here or
to United States?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. I love Canada.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
I loved it when I drove through there. I mean, the gravy fries at every single place were amazing. I never had more consistent gravy fries than through Canada. Yeah. They really put everything they have into those gravy fries.
It's becoming too expensive here.
Canada? Yeah, cigarettes were like $12 a pack in 1994 when I went through there.
It was not like that a couple of years ago, but the prices are going
Inflation,
up.
I mean, the bottom line is, guys, I mean, that's it all comes down to finances, really. When it's like money all the time. Your dollar just ain't stretching as far as it was 5 years ago. It just ain't. Pre-pandemic, the dollar stretched farther, and now it seems to me, paying energy bills, water bills, and those kind of like things consistently through 25 years. I mean, it went up ridiculously crazy over about 2 years. It would just, and it seems like gouging. It doesn't seem like there's anything along some of these processes, chain supply wise, that would validate increases like there have been, other than greed, pure fucking corporate greed. And
you pay your bills and your pockets are empty, man. That's
not all my bills get paid. I have to choose which ones to pay when I pay them.
Yeah.
At this point now, I mean, it never used to be like that. I had A1 credit for just decades of my life. My mom worked at an old-fashioned credit bureau, brick and mortar credit bureau, and beat into me and my sister's heads as kids. Do not get bad credit.
Yeah, man.
She didn't beat me severe enough. My sister, she must have got a good ass whooping because she ain't never had bad credit. Me, my last name is bad credit.
If you sell your house, your situation is gonna be more.
It's totally different
for sure.
It totally flips everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I get to do what I love. I get to start my own business. I get to do it properly with good equipment. I already have a place lined up to live. I mean, I got everything. My poop's in a group. Like I took care of this house. I took care of it over the 25 years I lived here, but also I redid a lot of stuff here the last 6 months. And it just all seems like right now for not. Like, I mean, not only did I not make any money working, I sank what money I had in, and I just feel like I'm just going to lose everything now. And I don't know how I'll deal with that. I just don't know how I'll deal with that. So, but we're not there yet.
But you're going to be there.
Anyways, Veronica says, touche, Watson, it's always been a magical place for me. I loved their tacos. Are we talking about Delphi? Until the Chicago guy.
Indiana.
Wait, until the Chicago guy changed contracts and drove out the vendors. Someone had good tacos and someone ruined it. And for that, I hate you. I hate you. I love tacos.
So, Farmer, I think we're going to...
We can let it go. I'm just lonely. That's all. It's like I could just sit here forever, but...
No, me too. But
at some point, it starts boring the people. Because I really don't have anything to. I mean, the Web Sleuth Handbook was basically the crux of the show tonight.
I need to walk my dog.
Sure.
No, it was super fun as usual, Farmer.
I thought so. I thought it was great. By the way, I love doing this show. It doesn't have to be a hit every time.
No,
it doesn't have to feel like I did better each time. It just feels at home. That's all.
Yeah,
it always feels at home, and I always appreciate it.
Great chat. Great crew here.
Great
Thank you guys for the comments.
Remember to
hit the
Georgia
like.
Girl. I haven't seen Georgia Girl around before, so have a good night, Lily Shaw, Georgie says. Justin and Sheba, that's my buddy right here in town, my metal detecting guru, and the only person I went to high school with that I contacted after high school. So that's a good dude. And he's a part of his own channel where he plays bass covers with his parrot on his shoulder of any song you know. And he's awesome.
Yeah.
Come Sludge.
We talk about your case, Farmer. We're gonna cover.
You know, I think what I would try to do is get Ursula to talk to both of us about the case. I don't know that much about it, and I feel like if I could get her to agree to sort of come over my place, so we could be on camera here, you could be on camera there, maybe whoever else is dedicated to joining us could be on camera somewhere.
Right.
And we could sort of go over a game plan before we just go willy-nilly into broadcasting one of my best friend's personal details.
For sure. Great
but
idea.
I want to do it. I want to do it because it means something. And you know, to me. So, but not that every case doesn't or shouldn't. But you're welcome, Justin. He's actually an incredible bass player. And an incredible metal detectorist. The guy's found more this year than probably he's found in the last 5 years. I mean, they did a lot of road tear outs. I mean, every day this guy's got new rings and he found a 2-cent piece. That's a bucket lister. 2-cent piece is, I mean, a 3-cent piece is a bucket lister. A 2-cent piece is I don't even know what's beyond bucket lister, but it's more than that.
Awesome, man.
Timmy's, I just wanted to mention Timmy's legacy. Good evening to you. Let's not forget about Timmy, Barbara Hall. Thanks for being here. Veronica, Shay Watson, everybody else that I'm not mentioning. Justin, of course, Mr. Steve for the time he actually took to be here. You guys, I don't know if you noticed something. I mean, I don't keep track of other people, but I'll be seeing Mr. Steve pop in to a show and be like, hey, just want to stop in and say hi. And that's about how long he's there. Around here, he stays for about half the show. I find that to be a huge compliment. Thank you.
For sure. Same here.
There's my brother. Oh, whoops. Not my brother-in-law. Fitman is not my brother-in-law. What's up, John? Lily Shaw. Hey, it was a fun broadcast tonight. I wanted to do something just a little bit different than murder. We can save the Wednesday's alien invasion for Tuesday night, and that way we'll have less than 24 hours for the planet to survive.
Cool, man.
And we can spend it together. Yay!
Take your supplies. All right, Farmer. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. You have a great night, and I'll always come back to Cryptex as long as they'll have me. Shay Watson. One more comment says I moved back after my house turned out to be a lemon, misrepresented by the seller, of course, but there are some very nice places.
This is
UFO night. Yeah, we should do a UFO night if you're down. Maybe you don't like that kind of. I never asked you. I don't want to just.
I love it.
You know, but in Saskatchewan, the coin they made out of there last, right? Yeah. The guy in this field, with the 3, I can't think of his last name. He was an older guy. But they actually make coins in Canada to represent their anomalous flying craft. I give them credit for that. And they stopped making loonies. No one likes a loony. When I went to Alaska and drove through Canada, and you know what a loony is, right, Cryptex, I hope? A dollar coin? Has a loon on it. Well, my first gas station I stopped at in Alaska, on the American side, a little girl started bawling her eyes out. Because her little brother got an American dollar and she got a loony. It was only worth 78 cents.
Alaska, how was that? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was cool, man. I mean, if you're into bumping elbows with every miscreant and Vietnam vet ever, nothing against Vietnam vets, but it's just like someone went up there to get away from something in 1994. In 1994, they used to ask you when you cross the border, do you have a gun? Not like you can't have a gun. Like, you better have a gun. And I always did. Not a handgun, but I always had a shotgun and a rifle. And they said, good, because a bear may attack you. And you will need to defend yourself. Now, after 9/11, no defense. You got to let the fucking bear eat you. Ain't that something? Those terrorists did win.
Cool, man. Okay. See you, man.
All right, you take care. Precaution, I just went there to deliver pizzas to check it out for a few weeks. I was there a few months, actually, maybe about 10 weeks. So not 5 years, but I did deliver in Anchorage, a lot of delivery to Elmendorf and Fort Richardson and I know that town pretty well. I lived on Muldoon Avenue, yada, yada, yada. Have a great night, everybody.
See you guys.
Yep, we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
Ciao.
bye.
Ciao, guys. Thank you so much.
Ciao.